Gentlemen, what's going on? Welcome back to the one, the only, the fragrance fraternity, where we are a brotherhood of guys and girls too that like to smell good. I got the fall list rolling for you here. We're going to be talking about long-lasting designer fragrances for fall. It is time to bring the fall list to life. Let's get it started here with one of my favorite fragrances of all time, one of the best designers of all time. This is YSL EDP, a beautiful green apple sweet note here. Very, very attention grabbing, very long lasting as the title suggests, and just an overall versatile fragrance you can use in every single situation. Anybody who knows anything about fragrances understands that this is a good fragrance. You know, maybe the niche snobs will give you a hard time, but any regular consumer and regular enthusiast of fragrances understands how good EDP is. It is kind of a more common scent profile, but I can't blame people because it's that good. A lot of people want to buy it and wear it. Can't blame them. You get a little bit of this like Embroxton shower gel freshness as it dries down, but really that opening with the beautiful apple note is attention grabbing, captivating, whatever positive descriptor you want to use. You'll find yourself going back to this all the time. If you're looking for just one fragrance, just one to rock this fall, get your nose on EDP. Don't even have to watch the rest of the video. But in case you want some other suggestions, I know that you guys probably are already familiar with this one because your taste is immaculate here with the gentlemen of the fragrance fraternity. I got some other recommendations that you may be interested in. Specifically, going next here, we have Bleu Noir. This is the Eau de Parfum, and the hype is justified on this little puppy. It's gotten some conversation among other bigger channels, and I'm here to tell you as the little guy that this is worth that hype. It's got that blue shower gel smell, but different from EDP, it has more of a muskiness to it. It's a bit thicker of a fragrance. It does have a bit of like this creamy / powdery nature to it. But yeah, that musk is pretty prominent here. Not overly complex, something that almost everybody's gonna enjoy. Great lasting power. You can wear it to the office. You can wear it, on a date even. All the versatility here. But I think this one just comes across in the fall weather a little bit better. It is a little bit thick to be worn in the summer. Specifically for summer, I'd recommend the Eau de Toilette Extreme or the Eau de Toilette from this line. But for the fall time, the Eau de Parfum is an excellent choice, a great daily driver type fragrance, and great quality for the money always with these Bleu Noir fragrances. Narciso Rodriguez, for him, Bleu Noir EDP. Long name, great fragrance. All right, let's keep it going here. We're going to change up the scent profile, get away from the blue fragrances for a second. This is Hermes, Terre d'Hermes Eau Intense Vetiver. So this is kind of like the flanker in the line for the people that may not be biggest fans of Terre d'Hermes, that bitter orange smell. I got to come back to that. I haven't smelled it in a while. I kind of gravitated towards this, and besides the OG Vrai, haven't really spent too much time with the other Terre d'Hermes, especially not the original. But it does remove that bitter orange earthiness, and it adds in a nice citrus to kind of overlay that Terre d'Hermes DNA, which you still pick up, but it's just a little bit stripped back of that bitter orange divisiveness that some people may or may not dig. It is definitely a more upscale type fragrance, a more of a gentlemanly type scent going on here. Certainly like beckons to be worn with a suit and tie, more formal occasion. Possibly not something that you want to rock in a t-shirt, although wear whatever the hell you want. I wear this with a t-shirt all the time. Just giving you guys some suggestions. You know how we like to categorize things in fragrance for optimal use. Anyway, the vetiver note is prominent, so you obviously got to be a big fan of vetiver, and it does come across a bit earthy and a bit sophisticated. Possibly not a fragrance that you want to try if you're just getting into fragrances, but if you do have a bit of more refined palate, a bit of experience, and you want something that has some real elegance, class, and intrigue, something that could possibly set you apart from anybody that you're around, Eau Intense Vetiver is the epitome of class, elegance, masculinity, and just sophistication in a bottle. Terre d'Hermes Eau Intense Vetiver. All right, let's keep it classy here with this next fragrance. Basically, all those descriptors that I use of Terre d'Hermes Eau Intense Vetiver can be applied to Ralph's Club, the Elixir. This is the Elixir version. Love this beautiful looking bottle. I think it really did a nice job with this plating here, and it's got this Zippo style cap, pretty much like the whole line does. You got to be a fan of powdery iris here because that is the most prominent thing that's going to stick out to you here is the iris note, but it's arguably the most masculine iris that I've ever tried. because iris is a floral note that can sometimes come across feminine to people's noses. But here it's more of the orris, so not exactly iris. It's more of an earthy take on it. It does have some woods in the base, and it does have a bit of vetiver too, to ground it in that masculinity. And yeah, nothing feminine going on here at all. Again, beckons to be more dressed up. However, I wear this one casually a lot, and I love it. Kind of more of a nighttime fragrance, but for me, I love it so much. I've worn it during the day as well. So again, just giving recommendations, but it's got more versatility than I think maybe people give it credit for. One of the best from Ralph Lauren, one of my favorite fragrances from them, and I think one of the best iris fragrances, especially from the designers that I've tried on the market. Certainly recommend you guys get your nose on Ralph's Club Elixir. Absolutely love that one. All right, now let's take a journey into something a little sweeter with Spicebomb Nightvision Eau de Parfum. It's got this candied sweetness. You got to really be into sweet fragrances. I mean, this is a clubbing fragrance. This is the epitome of a clubbing fragrance. Whenever anybody asks me about a recommendation for a clubbing fragrance, this is the first one that comes to mind. Enormous projection, enormous performance. It's got a bit of spices to, you know, fit into that spice bomb name DNA, but things that set it apart. It's got a pistachio note that adds a little bit of nuttiness, and overall just has this kind of like green Jolly Rancher sweetness to it, this candied sweetness that is super addicting and something that you're going to want to come back to all the time. Haven't really been able to wear it in the summer because of the heat, and this fragrance don't really clash too well, but as temperatures cool, I'm really looking forward to wearing this one in the fall. And I think if you haven't gotten your nose on this one, you definitely should. If you're a big fan of the original and the extreme, you may not like this one because this one goes a completely different direction, arguably the most youthful one in the line. But I certainly think if your taste is close to mine and you don't mind some of those more youthful leaning sweeter fragrances, you want to get your nose on Spicebomb Nightvision Eau de Parfum. It's done wonders for me, especially like in the club nightlife type scenario. This is a great one to go with. All right, next up we have Versace Eros Flame. Got this little 30 ml at Ross for a good price. Good to see the rack stores getting some designer fragrances in again. And the best part of this fragrance is really that opening. It's got this, I think orange, or it's got orange and chinotto, which is another type of citrus, like fruity smell as far as I understand. Really beautiful, captivating opening. And then it dries down to a more like sandalwoody and you know, you don't really get that Eros DNA. This one really goes a different direction. So if you're not a big fan of Eros, you're not a big fan of that like vanilla tonka bean powerhouse that Eros is known for, you may want to check out the Flame. Again, that bright pop of that orange in the opening is really what makes this fragrance for me. But it actually has a pretty good, decent, long-lasting performance. So when you consider the price, the spectacularity, if that's even a word, of the opening, and just the overall wearing experience, I think this one, for value for money, you can get it discounted pretty steeply these days. It's a pretty solid offering from the house of Versace. Looking forward to trying the new Energy as well, but Versace Eros Flame, for what I have right now, is going in here. All right, let's go now to the house of Armani. This is Stronger With You Tobacco. I've spoken a good amount about this one, and it's just such a lovely fragrance. I can't wait till more of you get your nose on it. I want to hear what you guys think about it. Ambery, warm, spicy as all hell, a little bit woody as well. It's an ideal fragrance to wear when you're like going out at night and you want to just be in your masculine energy. This one is all the way masculine to the max, to the extreme. Very, very mature as well, more so than the other ones in the line. It dials back that sweetness a little bit and really amps up that ambery warmth, the tobacco, and the spices are in the forefront. The spiciest one of the whole line. If you like warm, spicy fragrances, this is certainly one you want to get on your radar. It also has a bit of that chestnut smell, that little, like chestnut sweetness that is really nice about the Absolutely blended in here. Overall, a great blend. Hard to believe that this is actually a designer fragrance. It's got a lot of niche type appeal and a lot of like niche, I guess nuance is the word that I was looking for, going on here with Strong With You Tobacco. So certainly one I recommend you check out if you can. And it is probably going to become a little bit more difficult to find as time goes on, since it is a Middle Eastern exclusive. But, you know, I'm not here to promote overspending on anything, just giving you guys the facts. If you can get a sample of this, get your nose on it, I recommend you do it, especially if you like the warm, spicy chestnut type fragrances. Strong with you tobacco. Okay, next one is something completely different. One of the best musky fragrances I've ever tried. H24 Eau de Parfum. Really love the metallic freshness that this one provides. You get a banana milkshake type smell. At least I do. I've been saying that ever since I even tried the Eau de Toilette. Banana milkshake is even more prominent here in the EDP. It is quite a bit thicker and a little bit more powerful than the Eau de Toilette. Not as bright and fresh and zingy. So for the fall time, I think gravitating towards the Eau de Parfum is going to be a good bet for you. You could try the new Hermes Vives, however you pronounce it. I think that one's really good too. But in reality, if you own one from the line, the other ones kind of become very redundant because they do share the DNA. They do flanker quite well in this line. And they maintain the same H24 DNA. Get your nose on this one. It is quite a unique fragrance, which I really enjoy about it. As your collection grows, you may start to, gather some redundancy and really start to value fragrances that offer a uniqueness, which this one certainly does. Performance is no slouch, but it is unique without being challenging is what I often like to refer to this as. So you could use this as a daily driver. You could wear it on a date. The versatility is quite high here. Get your nose on it, and I'd love to hear your thoughts about what you think about H24 Eau de Parfum. I quite enjoy it, and I'm happy to recommend it to you. I think it's a stunning fragrance. All right, next one. I've talked about this one to death, but it was really hard for me to make this fall list without including it. Because it's such a love of mine. It's probably in my top 5, definitely in my top 10. This is one of the only bottles that I actually have a backup bottle of. I don't really get backup bottles, but this is one that I do have a backup bottle of. It's 4.2 ounce. I think I'm like already down to here. It shows you how much I love it. L'Homme Parfum. Don't let the bulge fool you. This is a great fragrance. It's got iris again. It's got vanilla. It's got this powdery nature to it, so you have to be a fan of the powdery iris. You get cardamom, which adds a nice, kind of sexy spice to this. Optimal date night fragrance, optimal evening out fragrance. Also has a bit of a gentlemanly feel too, and a bit of class and elegance. Not such a sweet kind of playboy fun vibe like Ultra Male. Really reins that in and brings a little bit of class and elegance to the line, which I really appreciate. You still get the L'Homme DNA that everyone knows and loves so much with the kind of Tonka Bead prominent sweetness. But yeah, L'Homme Parfum, a hype beast for good reason. Certainly recommend you get your nose on it, and you may fall in love with it. It was a love at first smell for me. And I think it really kind of fits my personality overall. Next one we have is Gisada Ambassador. Essentially, the easiest way you can look at this is Mango Sauvage. So if you like Sauvage, if you don't mind that kind of synthetic, Ambroxan, shower gel fresh, powerful, sharp, aggressive type nuance in your fragrance, you may want to look into this one as well. This does offer a mango note, which brings a little bit of like a tropical edge to it. It makes it a little bit more vacation vibe than necessarily Sauvage, which is just kind of shower gel fresh every day. This adds a bit of intrigue with that fruitiness coming from the mango. You still get that metallic type sharpness that you would associate with Sauvage, right? And the quality here is excellent. You can get this one usually around the $70 mark is where I've seen it floating around. And again, value for money with where this is at on performance and smell. Just overall, the offering, magnetic cap, and a really good one actually too. I have no qualms about holding this one with the cap. A lot of value here with Gisada, a Swiss brand, a new brand to the scene, and they came hitting it really hard. As a new brand, your first fragrance has to be great, and this is certainly great. But you gotta like Sauvage, and you gotta like that kind of scent profile with the fruity sweet magno. I'm not gonna keep repeating myself, but yeah, Gisada Ambassador, check it out. Let me know what you guys think about that one. All right, final one for the list. This one has kind of come and gone from the hype of Fragcom, but I really love this fragrance. And yeah, it's Nuit Bleu Electrique. This is kind of my go-to on first dates. I think it just works perfectly. It's a great fragrance that kind of puts you also in a masculine mood, but also it's got like a quiet confidence to it is the best way I can describe it. So it doesn't, project insane where it's going to announce itself to the whole room, but it does create quite a nice sillage and wearing experience, which is what ultimately I believe is the optimal thing to look for when you're trying to fragrance out. You can go for the original, and I suggest if you're in the United States and if you don't have any La Nuit de Lhome, you just go for the original. You can get it for, in that like $60 price range, usually from discounters. But if you want something with a little bit more performance in that similar scent profile, They are quite similar, this and the OG. Then you go for the Bleu Electrique, especially if you know somebody in Europe that can get this sent over to you or can get this for a good price so you don't have to overpay like I did. I'm really happy with what I paid because I really wanted this, but for some people out there, they're going to be a little bit disappointed with how close this is to original Nuit de Lhome, even though this is like more than twice the price just because of the, I guess, short supply of it in the United States. Bleu Electrique coming in at the number 10 spot. Cardamom, one of the best date night fragrances of all time, the GOAT of date night fragrances, in my personal opinion. A timeless fragrance that will never smell outdated or old. One of the best evening scents for men ever created. And if you love cardamom, you got to get your nose on Nuit de Lhome in some form or fashion. So, Nuit de Lhome Bleu Electrique finishing out this official fall list for 2024 at the Fragrance Fraternity with the designers. I appreciate you guys watching all the way to the end. Let me know down in the comments below one fragrance that's long lasting that you're looking forward to wearing in the fall. Optimally designer, but it doesn't really matter. Let me know what you guys are into. And keep smelling great out there. I'll be coming at you again with some cheap alternatives, and maybe I'll do a niche list as well so we can get a little bit of something for everybody. Hope you enjoyed. Have a great day. Keep smelling great out there. Appreciate the support. Let's keep the fraternity growing with good, positive people bringing the right kind of energy, and we can all have a really great time and smell really good together. Thanks, guys. See you on the next one. Take care.